Hello and welcome to another episode of Sloss and Humphires on the road.
We've decided against jingles.
Well, we've decided against jingles by the end of the podcast. So throughout the podcast, you will hear Kai trying to make many jingles happen that are not going to be allowed to happen. I'm sorry they're there. There's nothing we can do. He tried.
Look, it's a democracy. We've had one vote each. I voted for jingles. He voted against jingles. Yeah. So it's over to you to decide.
We talk a lot of shit on this episodes, just about the gigs that we've done and how classy we are now that we eat Michelin starred food, and then we proceed to get a whole bunch of signs, mostly wrong, I think.
I mean, I've read all of this information from New Scientist
magazine. I believe that you read it. What I don't believe is that you absorbed it and passed it on with 100% accuracy.
But that's the whole point in the bit.
Right, okay.
Kai the Science Guy, which doesn't have a jingle, even though it deserves a jingle. There's a new section of the podcast.
If you're one of our Patreon subscribers, thank you very much for the money that you constantly give us. We do appreciate it.
We appreciate you the most.
Yeah. I mean, I know we've still not changed the studio yet, but it's happening. It will happen. Just, keep watching this space.
But only when the rest of these guys get on board.
Yeah, it's 100% of you. Otherwise, we'll just spend it on drugs. You know the rules. Until we get 100% conversion into Patreon, then we're just going to be irresponsible with it.
Look, we did on the last episode. We spent Patreon money on booze.
We did.
And give them an excellent drunk podcast.
Aye, which was much funnier than the sober one we just did.
Oh, the hungover one that you losers get.
Aye.
Enjoy the podcast, guys. Thanks for being here.
Sloss and Humphires on the road.
Muggins and Cream, Cream and Muggins, straight thuggin', living the dream.
And that's our intro.
Fucking muggles.
Tickling the clit inside your head.
We kind of touched on it last week. Well, on the Patreon when we were talking about the dog fiasco.
Yes.
But I was on my way to...
Very well received podcast, by the way.
Was it?
Yeah, a lot of people said that.
Well, listen to that, you fucking cheap cunts who are listening to this free episode. You hear that? You hear how good our episodes are that you can't afford, you fucking tight wankers.
They get the drunk episode, you'll get the hungover one.
Enjoy this, you losers. Anyway, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for choosing us ahead of the many other podcasts you could choose.
Well, I'm sure but you don't really choose us ahead of them. I'm sure you listen to lots. I'm sure we're...
No. Are we in a polyamorous relationship with our listeners?
Yeah. There's no way we're the one podcast.
Because I don't go around doing other podcasts. I kind of do.
We all do. Yeah, that is... I was on Have a Word 3 weeks ago. I can't...
I feel like they listen to more other podcasts than I go on other podcasts, so I feel like this is a disjointed, open relationship. I feel like I'm the man and you're the hot woman in this relationship. I was talking to the listener, not you.
Aye. Well, hey...
Would you be happy with that? If I was like, I'm the man and you're the hot woman? Would you not feel degraded because I called you a woman?
No, because I don't think it's degrading to be a woman.
Nah, it's what I find about this is it's degrading to be told you're something that you're not. Aye. So it's not in that situation. It's not about being a woman's so bad that it would be terrible. It's like if you said to a woman you're like a bloke, that's also degrading for them.
Because it's not what they are.
Unless they are, and then they're like, finally somebody notices me.
Jeez, I've been wearing jeans for years now. I can't believe you've finally... Yeah, thank you. I feel seen.
So anyway, on the drunk podcast you brought up.
No, we were talking about the dog fiasco. I was on my way to take my son swimming because he's got to learn how to swim so that he's not scared of water, so that he's not one of those fucking losers that holds his nose when he goes down a flume.
And I've spent some time with your son, and he does breaststroke with his lips.
He does at the moment. He is. How can you drown when you're motorboating all the time? So like the first week we go, Cara goes in the water with him first. Like before we take him to a pool by ourselves, and we're like, look, we'll take him into a pool for the first time together, and then we'll go take him in classes with like other kids and stuff. And it's great. We dunk him into the water. It's the first time to Cara. I'm like, it's the one thing I'm like, I know it's going to suck, but you have to do it constantly and regularly just to normalise it. He can't be scared of water. Right, you dunk him in, you let him out, you go yay, and he fucking and that just.
And by the time he's 3 years old, he doesn't remember a time when he couldn't go into the water.
And he's not scared, and it's just so easy, and that's why when they're young, you put them on roller coasters as soon as you can, right? You put them on anything fast,
just on a pair of stilts.
Absolutely, no, on my shoulders and with the hoodie up.
Yeah.
We're not fucking idiots. You know, it's the same thing. Like, so sorry to go off topic a little bit, but you know the podcast. The other day when we were in Sweden together, Cara was having a fucking nightmare because there was a spider in the bathroom. Right.
Oh yeah.
And there was nothing she could do
it was the first thing she told me when we got back.
Yeah.
Because she thought she'd killed it.
Yeah.
But then, like, it was just like the Terminator, like one red eyeball hanging out and fucking.
It's because she can't. I'm like, just put something over the top of it. Get a giant wad of kitchen roll, right, and just smash down on top of it. Go downstairs, put some wellies on. Put some wellies on and just fucking go down.
Hazmat suit.
Yeah, do whatever it is. She can.
Or
do.
just learn a little bit about the ecosystem of Scotland. That's not going to do you any harm.
Right. Well, look, these are all you're applying logic to an illogical fear. Like it's just
practice stoicism.
I mean, I can't even tell her to do that. I practiced stoicism for like 2 weeks and I was like, God, this is boring. I don't argue with anyone anymore.
I really like the principle of it they get between emotion and action. So you're not being reactive. You feel the emotion, oh, there's a spider, and your instant reaction is to be like, there's a spider.
Oh, no.
You can go, how about I don't do that?
Well, in her defense, she does do this. She doesn't scream. She doesn't fucking run away because I've always said to her, I'm like, you can't pass this fear on to Caelan, obviously. Yeah. You've got to. So she does. She'll be composed, but when he's in the other room sleeping, she can freak out to herself and she's having a fucking terrible time. Anyway, so my whole point is, you don't want to pass on fears. I want to have a son that's able to do, well, not just a son, a child that's able to do anything. He's not held back by fears. She takes him into the pool first time. And it's her and all the other mums. And it's great. You just watch them dunking him and like singing songs and like getting them used to the water. And it's great. You watch them go around for 30 minutes. It's very adorable. It's very fulfilling. Right? Last week was my go. I was dead excited, Kai. I was very excited to take my son swimming. My dumbass, just because the week before, Cara was going in, she's the mum, and the pool was filled with other mums. Yeah. So my dumbass goes, I'm in the pool this week. It'll obviously be all the other dads. Whereas,
what did you think everyone was going to have the same thought process where they were like, right, switcheroo?
Well, I guess I just forgot that other people have real jobs.
Yeah.
Like real, like
so
in my head,
it's
I'm
all
like,
the mothers who are still on mat leave.
Yeah, yes, aye. So it's all the mothers with like their mums or their friend that have come along to just watch it, or you know, plenty of mothers that are just there by themselves for the lessons, and then just me, the only da. Aye, only down a pool from my mum's.
I can't get out.
And
got a
and we were late.
Where?
Aye, late to class. Took the wrong turn off.
And you were rescuing a dog.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we were also late. Because we were rescuing a dog. Well, I mean, I was near you while you rescued. And also, I was very up for the dog just being left to die because I was like, that's a stupid dog.
You were running that dog into the road.
Aye. Well, no, the dog's running itself into the road. Like it's, you know, any dog. If you're running and you're not looking in the direction you're going, I don't have that much sympathy when you get hit by something.
But that's it. Like, children and dogs can't. Like children up to a certain age, obviously, can't do the mathematics required for like the volume of a car and the speed it's moving and the mass and the trajectory and the speed and like it's just not in their capacity to process it. So you can't go, oh, that dumb dog running towards a road where there's cars where it's going to get hit. It doesn't know what it's going to be like when that happens.
Well, that is poorly trained. Like how are you trusting your dog with someone else to take on a walk? That if you've
it shouldn't have been off the lead.
Aye, there you go.
Where we are.
Aye, that's what I mean. And if it's off the lead and it gets hit by a car, I guess you learned a lesson for your next dog.
Aye, that's some negative reinforcement for the dog walker.
Aye.
Fucking anyway, back to the swimming. You're the only dad.
Only dad in the pool of mums, and I'm absolutely fine with that. You know, that's not.
You're just mansplaining all the swimming stuff to them.
Yeah,
Every time the swimming instructor said it,
no. The instructor was a mad guy. So I was obviously like, ladies, listen up. No, he's a bloke. I'm obviously fine with mother mums. We go in, they've all got cute babies. I like
with
babies.
other mums as if you wouldn't be.
Aye. Well, I don't know. No, but I was saying to Cara, I was like, I guess there would be some other people there where that would be their fucking worst nightmare of, you know, oh God, you know, it's just me in a pool of other women. I'm the only fucking dad. Whereas I'm like, makes zero difference to my life. I've been.
It's strange why we're like that as a, you know, when I was a kid, I went to this birthday party, and it was a lass from school, and I went, and I was the only boy there in the whole birthday party.
And it makes you feel weird.
And I was fucking mortified. I was really embarrassed.
Aye.
And like, I don't know why. Like, why is that a thing? Is that just...
Well, I think it's because maybe it's probably from just the way we are in primary school with each other. Like, I mean, you guys didn't do fucking dancing at any point in school, did you?
That's fucking harrowing what you were telling me about the Cayley dancing lessons where you...
Boys on that side of the room, girls on that side of the room, and now go pick a partner. And you're like, what is this?
It's bad enough, right, when you're picking football team and you're like taking turns and picking people. And in our school as well, it was bullshit because I always picked the ginger kids last regardless of skill. Like literally regardless of skill. Like me and Martian would be sit there at the end.
You and who?
Stephen Martian.
Right, okay.
There at the end, he was class footballer. I was alright. He was mint. Those people like way fat kids getting picked.
So fat's ranked above gingers in the Geordie school. Is ginger like the worst thing you could be?
Just guess and see. Fat ginger.
Oh, okay. Right, okay. Okay.
Man, it's so bad. I'm like, why are we like this when we grow up? And I'm like, oh, because in school it was fucking brutal.
Oh, yeah, really
because it was like law of the jungle. And now you're an adult and you've just literally learned how to fight to survive and degrade other humans to try and put yourself above them in value. And then they just release you into the world and go, okay, be a functioning member of society now. Don't hurt anyone.
And kids are awful. Like, you know, before they develop empathy in their 30s.
I developed empathy way late.
I definitely got
and
mine.
I really missed my 20s when I was just carefree. I was so careless that I didn't care about anyone. And I got by. Now I'm just taking other people into consideration all the time, and it takes so much energy.
It sucks. That's why I turn it off every now and again. Just give myself holidays from it. I think that's what a lot of British people use holidays for. They're like, God, I'm so polite at home. I tell you what, I'm going to go to Spain and be a fucking cunt.
And be rude back.
Yeah. Aye. Spain, you definitely did start it.
Mm-hmm. So, is there more to add that you went with the mums?
Yeah. So, I'm in with the mums and we're swimming along. I'm talking to all the mums with the babies. They've got... Man, we're comparing babies. They're telling me my baby's cute. I'm telling them their baby's cute. It's a great day. I dunk my son. He doesn't cry. I'm like, oh my God, what a brave boy. Great. All fine. Occasionally the guy's like, mums, just do this. And he goes, oh, sorry, mums and dads. And I'm like, man, I know. You just say mums. It's mums. Like, I'm not going, me, mums and... no, buddy, just say mums. I know, or parents. I don't care. It makes no difference to my life.
That's what in the golf lessons I've been doing. There's a woman on the course, and the guy has to keep checking himself on that. He's like, "All right, gentlemen and lady." you're like, I know you've recovered it because you said gentlemen first.
Yeah, but it's just go guys, blokes.
I use guys.
Lads is gender neutral as far as I'm concerned.
I definitely use guys as gender neutral.
Aye. Anyway, so he's doing that the entire time. I'm like, it's absolutely fine. I'm the only dad in the group of mums. And then at the end, he was like, and none of us asked for this. He's just like, okay, because it's unisex changing rooms, because of course it's a family swimming pool. And he goes, okay, ladies, just remember, mums, just because it's unisex doesn't mean dad over here wants to see everything. And I'm like, do not. I can't get involved in any of this banter. Like, I'm holding the baby and I'm not picking up your shit chat at this point. Like, I'm not. Like, that's a bet. You can throw it in my direction. I'm not fucking touching that.
Making me look like some kind of peeping Tom. Like,
No.
Like, not even my baby. I'm just here to buy in.
I think he was trying to do. I think what he was trying to do was he was trying to be like, okay, it's the other way around. So it's,
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm trying to make them feel more comfortable. But I think it all came from like a good place.
Yeah.
But just don't mention it.
If he's like, oh, ladies, I know it's a what was the word again?
Unisex.
I know it's a unisex changing room, but there's no need to show them everything. And you were just like fucking angry. I'm going, you cock blocking motherfucker! What?
All right, well, I'll just get his mum in to change him then, since there's nothing in this for me.
I was about to say 8 new tits. I'm hoping it's an even number. Bit of strange.
It wasn't. Just when somebody handing you, and again, he didn't mean it in a bad way, and you know what? I guess it broke tension because the rest of us all just looked at each other like,
oh, like the referee from the comics boxing. Oh, you didn't have that, did you?
No.
He made it because he's I don't know if he is Muslim or not, but he's called Muhammad, right?
Well, okay.
So there's a chance. There's a strong chance.
There's a chance.
And he was giving him a little debrief before we done the boxing, and then he made like a Taliban joke about himself.
Okay. So
and like a bunch of comedians, and the joke wasn't strong enough.
Yeah.
And it just made me all go, oh, you really feel like you need to do that to make me feel included.
Yeah. Like, I'm really sorry that you felt that way, but also I can't laugh at that because like, I'm a professional at this and it's not good. Like, that's the thing. When somebody's trying to have fucking banter with you and it's shite, and I'm like, I can't. Man, I'm a pro. I can't laugh at your shit bit. Because if other people see me laughing at your shit bit, I feel like my stock goes down.
I've got such a higher threshold, and then listen to this podcast and go, no, you do not.
It'd be like going to Somalia's house and finding out they fucking drink like, not Jacob's Creek, what's the other shite one?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Come on, they're screaming it at the podcast.
Oh, all the women, what is it?
It's not Jacob's Creek, it's the other one. Oh, I need to do a thing as well. You asked me what programmes were good on Channel 4, and I said Panorama, and it's BBC.
Oh.
So that'll be really cathartic for a lot of people that just heard me correct that.
There you go.
Because they would have been there going, it's fucking... I was thinking of Dispatches, Daniel. Jacob's Creek.
Echo Falls.
There
it is. Aye. If you went around to a Somalia's house, is that the word?
It's Somalian.
It's a sommelier.
What's a sommelier?
The wine experts.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, you've thrown me off now.
Okay, you go for it.
No. Is it?
I don't know. It's the first I've heard of it. I thought you were saying Somalian.
I really think you, of all people, should know this with the nice place that your wife makes you take her to.
What, when we go to Stellenbosch?
Still in what?
Stellenbosch. And it's, they've got their own blend of wine called Pinotage.
A wine waiter. Yes, I am correct.
You are right.
Yeah. Not
sommelier.
Sommelier. Aye.
So you give a sommelier some Echo Falls.
No. If you were to be in a sommelier's house and you find out that's what they fucking drank, you'd be like, I don't really trust your opinion on wine anymore. Like, you've clearly just learned what to say about these bottles because your personal choices. It's like if there was...
No, but maybe it's like a cleaner's house is never tidy. It might be like that. It might just be like they're drinking all this nice wine all day and they just want something that they can sink for like £6.
Well, it was just like you and me coming home from a really good gig and just fucking sticking on some beer keg or something.
So I mean, it's come full circle. That's what we're talking about, laughing at people's jokes that aren't funny.
Oh, well,
just
so
treat yourself to some shit banter.
It's just your problem with a limp handshake.
Aye,
that's often what it's like for me. If it's and don't get me wrong, I have definitely handed people very, very shy, very floppy handshakes at bits. But thankfully, because I'm in the company of comedians all the time, it gets.
Somebody taglines it, or takes the piss out of you for it being bad, which you can't do with a passing stranger that
you
tries to have banter with you.
You've just got to politely laugh and. Ooh.
What the fuck was that? I found it very funny what you were doing in the because we turned up drunk to the Reykjavik gig, and because we just got loaded on the flight. Oh, I remember on the flight. Remember that guy giving it the beans?
Oh yeah, aye.
And he was like, me and you were both talking, but he took it like upon himself to like look past me at you.
Yeah, and I just kept looking at me, and to the point where I was like, man, if this cunt looks at me one more time, I'm gonna flip my lid here. Because he just staring, and I'm like, is he a fan? Like, what's?
He definitely
wasn't a fan.
He was mean mugging.
Aye,
but he was like, he was an older dude, maybe he's 50s.
Yeah, late 50s.
Like quite well dressed and all that, right? And he's in business class, and we were chatting about the Wheel of Time because we'd been just reading my books or whatever, and then when food came, took our headphones off, started chatting. And he was telling us about the where you were up to on the book and trying to recap me on where I'm up to so I can get back into it. It was just fucking proper wholesome conversation.
Aye.
It's not like we were rowing about football,
no,
right? And he just kept like looking past me at you, and I was like, it was catching my eye, and he was like, if he fucking looks at me one more time, and then he was just like, could you just be a bit quieter, please? And I was like, do you want me headphones? It's like, hey, you not got any headphones? And the fact is, there was like everybody on the flight was chatting. It wasn't like it wasn't like the fucking lights were dimmed down and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning and everyone's trying to get some sleep before the land.
Oh, it was an afternoon flight, and
it was like a 12 o'clock flight, like between Reykjavik
people
and Stockholm.
behind us having a conversation. People behind him having a conversation, and I'm like, don't get me wrong, my voice definitely carries, but also if it was carrying, I feel like there'd be other people on the flight, mainly the people fucking behind us, like the people that are the closest to us that are complaining about it. So we declined his offer to be quiet. We just said no.
He was like, "Nah, I'm alright. I'm good at this volume."
Yeah,
like,
this is how I talk.
It's like there's kind of like a cacophony of noise from the plane itself that we're trying to be heard over within what one bubble.
And you do have headphones. I can see you've got headphones in. So just
because I offered him mine at first. I was like, "Yeah, have these if you want." And he was like, "You've got some, you daft cunt. What are you doing?"
So he tried to give it.
Do you know what I saw it as?
What?
Because he wasn't to know that you're actually well-to-do. You and your trackies and that.
Aye.
It was absolute classism.
Oh, you think?
Because the women behind us talking, right, they were equally as loud because we could hear them.
Aye.
And they're behind were right. But he would have looked at them and go, "Oh, they're meant to be in business."
Aye.
You know, they looked at us and went, "They are imposters." And he fucking hated that we and my trackies were having the same experience as him.
So we should have battered him. Oh, no, that would have proven his point.
Aye.
No, it was just...
We should have proved his point. We should have fucking took him and put him in economy.
Well, also, this is an important fucking bit of the story. So we didn't fly directly to Reykjavik. We flew from Edinburgh to Stockholm, right? And we get off the plane and we get on a bus, as you do sometimes when you get off fucking planes. And they drove us to like this outdoor bit where we climbed up some stairs that joins onto the main terminal. And then we were all just stuck in this corridor for like 10 minutes?
There was a Chinese whisper in Swedish of like, "Can somebody come up and open this door? The coded door's locked." And like it rumbled past me. I saw the people at the top of the stairs chatting to the people behind, and it just gets past me and gets to the guy who's at the bus who's dropped off.
Oh no, but no, that wasn't even the original bus. That wasn't the bus guy that dropped us off. That was a new bus guy.
That was the second bus behind us.
Yeah. So the second bus comes along. They're like, and this guy's like, "How the fuck there's a queue there?" The Chinese whisper, the Swedish whisper has gone back to this point, and they're going, "This is like we're all fucking trapped in here." So after 10 minutes, this guy comes up, swipes his card, types in a couple buttons, lets us through into the main terminal building,
and we catch our connecting flight
to Iceland. We'll talk about Iceland in a second. Cut to us flying back from Sweden yesterday.
So just to paint the picture properly, we're through to Reykjavik via Stockholm. Right, we're in Reykjavik, do a gig, and then fly back to Stockholm to do a gig. Enter the country from
Iceland.
From Iceland.
Yeah.
So it's an internal, both in the EU.
Yeah, and then we fly from the UK. Sorry, from Stockholm to Edinburgh yesterday. And at customs, like the guy's looking at our passport and he's looking at it for fucking ages to the point where it's getting annoying. Where it's like, "Right, are you bad at your job? Like, what's going on?" Like, and he was like, "Where's your entry stamp?" And we're like, "Well," I was like, what do you mean?" He goes, "You've got no entry stamp into the country." And I'm like, "Well, I'm here." So, like you hear, "Hello, hiya, here we are."
You know what? I pole vaulted over the border.
Yeah, I snuck in. Oh, you got me. I'm a fucking idiot. I just thought I'd sneak into the country, but I thought I'd leave officially on the way out. There's been a fuck up. There's no way it's my fault. There's not a chance.
We're showing him our boarding passes. We're just like, "Look, we flew on these flights." And he makes a phone call.
Yeah, and he starts talking in Swedish, and it lasts for a good fucking 5 minutes. And the guy's like, "Okay, I'm really sorry, but the flight you came in on, were you trapped in a corridor for 10 minutes?" We were like, "Oh, yeah, we were." He was like, "Right, that guy who let you through no longer works at the airport and will never work at any airport
and he's been arrested
ever again."
It's the biggest crime you can commit as a
because
he let a bunch of immigrants into the country without getting checked.
Yeah, so basically the point I think they must have dropped us off either not at the correct bit, right? They clearly thought we were an internal European flight, so they dropped us off at the bit where they are, and you don't need to go past any border control.
You know, Brexit teething problems, we'll call it.
Yeah,
because that would have been the door to drop off for a couple
originally,
of months
back. Or alternatively, like because there was many like routes, maybe we ended up at the wrong fucking door. And this poor second cunt turns up and it just sees a room full of people locked in. Like I still can't work out exactly whose fault it was. But it certainly wasn't mine.
Nah, but someone's in deep trouble. And also, we were told off the guy, he was like, you might get questioned every single time you go through immigration because you've got an exit stamp without an entry stamp on one of your visits. And I actually went through all the stamps in my passport, and they do come in pairs. And you know when you see them like flicking through the pages, I thought they were just looking for a blank page to stamp. But they're just checking that you're all above board, you haven't been fucking...
Aye. Well, so yeah, we now have to have a folder on our phone.
Aye, with the boarding passes on.
Yeah, so that every time this fucking comes up, they have to phone the Swedish border control, and there's a file.
And then the good thing about it is, when he made that phone call, it looked like it was a famous case. Like, he looked like, oh yeah, like we've all been talking about this.
Yeah.
You're one of those guys that was on that flight.
Well, it should be easier, because as long as we've got the board, it's there. It's the boarding pass number.
It's just another thing to slow it down, especially if we're connecting.
Especially for a fucking job's worth. Only jobs worths are going to catch that.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, like, if you're going to America, which we are going to be going to America, even like for your stag, like that's going to be like in a room trying to explain that away.
Aye. Well, I mean, I don't think you have to just go. The file's there. Like, it's that. Like, I know exactly what the problem is. There.
Yeah.
Look it up. Do your job.
Yep.
So we finally get into Iceland. We had a couple of drinks on the flight, but a couple of me. Oh, and then also, like, I didn't want to drink that much on the flight, but the second he was like, "Can you quiet down?" I was like, "I'm getting drunk now."
And also,
I'm making a scene. I'll show you a fucking scene.
The flight attendant was like proper into our banter. He loved her. He was trying to make we try different gins, and he was like,
he was like, "You gotta try this one. This one changes colour. This is an Icelandic one that we have." And to be fair, he was chatting with fucking everyone. This was a daytime flight. Like, everyone on this flight was talking.
And then he was like topping my red wine up with my meal.
Aye. You were telling a story about me being too drunk in Iceland at the start. I did something.
Oh shit! Yeah, what was that? So we'll get off the flight.
I'm just leading you into.
Fuck! We need to excavate this.
Oh no, we don't. We can pause it and excavate it, but I'm not putting people through that.
Okay. So let's just keep going and see if it comes back. Or let's go through.
Right. So we finally get to Iceland. We're staying there with our promoter out there, is a lovely man called Barang, who massively into food, huge foodie, but like a good foodie. Like, the way he does it is, he can take you to a 2 Michelin star restaurant and you'll have like the best fish you've ever eaten in your life, or if it's 1 a.m, you can be like, "I'm starving. Where's the best kebab?" And he's like, "Okay, it's 6 minutes this way." Like, on either end of the spectrum, he enjoys food across the board.
So you can find you some good street food that does like a really good kebab. That's like a hidden gem and it's locally known, but it's not like world renowned.
Which to me is what a real foodie is, where there's no snobbery in it. There's no, like, you don't look down at different types of food because you're like, "Oh, that's what the working class eat." And you just go, "Man, working class food is some of the best fucking food." You've just got to make sure you find the people that make it correctly, and put like the right amount of effort into it, and not make it.
And he knows what you will and won't eat. Mm-hmm. He knows that I'll eat anything, and he's just happy to just take the menus off and order the right amount of food. Mm-hmm. He's just like, "Are you just happy for the way it comes?" And then he'll like fucking do all the conversation with the waiter. So that it takes all the decision fatigue away from you.
Aye,
you just get a belter feed,
and you end up trying some weird shit. Mm-hmm. We had some cow tongue, which was.
That was at a Szechuan place.
It was.
So that was mainly about the tongue numbing flavour of it. Like, it actually like made your tongue go a bit numb, and then you followed it with that. Can you remember what it was called? It was like that kind of miniature wine glass shot.
Oh yeah, the fucking weird. I don't know what. No, you could even say the name of it in front of me.
Nah, he said it a couple of times, and I was like, "Nah, I'm gonna need to drill that to be able to say it."
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not. It's like when you ask someone for directions and your brain just goes, "No, la 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 la," and you just miss it.
You know what's quite funny as well? He says to me, "Have you had Szechuan peppers before?" And I was like, "Oh, we've got like supermarket Szechuan sauce in the house for like hot sauce, but like not no. The answer's no." Right, and then I get back home and I found the sriracha sauce.
You stupid cunt.
Aye. So I just lied to him.
Did I tell you? So we went to we went to a Michelin star restaurant in Reykjavik. Then the next day in Stockholm, we also went to another one there. Both times I'm in my trackies, and then for the one yesterday before we went, he was like, I think it'd be wise if we wear jeans to this next place. And I'm like, oh God, I keep forgetting you take me to nice places and I dress like a wanker because, you know, I'm mad travel gear.
Yeah,
you know, I'm in comfies whenever I can be in comfies.
And you know what? You spend so much time sitting, right? Like, whether that's sitting in the back of the car, sitting in the aeroplane, sitting in the restaurant,
Sitting backstage.
You spend so much time sitting that like your belt starts to leave like a little imprint on the overhang bit of your belly. And I'm like, that little
gives you an extra wee belly dimple. You're like, ow, this one's not natural. Ow.
I'm gonna pierce my own belly button by the end of the day, so I spend my day in joggies.
It was in Stockholm where we met a taxi driver who I hope is dead right now.
Right.
He did the most
So
unforgivable. I've never, and if you've listened to this podcast for a while, you know the very strong opinions I have on taxi etiquette and taxi driver etiquette and what the relationship is with the amount of communication that's allowed to happen between
this is before
an employer and an employee.
Before we managed to put any context to it, we were sat in the back, and all we just heard was
oh, and I'm like, like is there something on this cunt's foot? Like is he watching porn like down the fucking side, just in the footwell with his fucking left hand, just like sneaking? He's like, what's going on there? And before we got in the car, he was talking to someone on the phone, and then we got in the car, and I assume
he chatted Barang.
Yeah.
But it was all in Swedish, so like there was no differentiation between him going, 2 seconds, mate, I'm just, I've got a fare, I'll call you back in a second.
Yeah.
And then spoke to
Where are you
Barang.
going?
So he had the earpiece on, and that was just his like, okay.
Yep.
Yep.
But his version of it was, oh, unforgivable. Unforgivable. I tell you right now, if I'd, for whatever reason, had cheese wire on me, if I'd been able to get my fucking shoelaces off quick enough, I would have strangled him and I would have happily let us both die. You know that bit in Dark Knight, the Dark Knight where Harvey Dent's like behind the fucking he's with whatever the gangster's name is in the car, and he flips the coin and he goes, all right, heads, you get to live, but what about your friend here? And then shoots the fucking driver after putting his own seatbelt on. That's what I wanted to do with this guy. Like, I will kill everyone in this car as long as you are. That's unforgivable.
Me and Barang are just collateral damage.
Yeah, you had to go. There's no way you wanted to live with that memory.
Yeah. That was the worst. We were even audibly getting like annoyed at it.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, we just took our own advice and put our headphones on.
We did. Okay. This is
like, what the fuck was that?
Hi, honey. So is that you just got? Is that just somebody getting in your car now?
Mm.
And do you think it's going to be like a long shift for you today? Well, it's just because I've made some stew, some chicken stew for when you get back. I know that's your favourite. Do you want me to save you some? Yeah, okay. Do you want some crusty bread with it? Yeah, I thought you would. Okay. Do you want me to put your daughter on the phone? Do you want to say hi? Dad, is that you? I drew
Harder.
It's unforgivable. You cannot say yes like that. That's right. That's, you know what? That's actually worse than the alternative. And the alternative is during actual sex to just go yes.
Yep. Yeah. Aye.
Oh.
Aye, go on then.
You sure? Why not? All right. Calling back.
You sure? Is that you finished, aye? Yeah, me and Al. Just a quick transaction phone call as your sex talk. All right, I won't take a minute here, love. All right, no worries.
Okay. See you next time. Yep. Love you too.
Again, you seen the time? So, you know Michelin stars.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the same company that does the tyres for like cars?
Yes.
It is?
Yes.
How are them two worlds?
So originally in America, there was
Is it like the Perrier?
Yeah, it's kind of...
Like the Foster's Comedy Award, like the...
Yes, Perrier started the award for the... And then it became the award itself.
The Coca-Cola Cup.
Aye, and it went on. I'm pretty sure Michelin used to have a roadmap that they would give out, like at any other stores of America, and there would be their starred restaurants on the road, and they would obviously be popular ones. And
so they'd use it like the travel link.
Yeah,
you can be a food tourist and drive, and we'll get you there with these wheels.
80% certain that that's how it sort of started, and then there was like companies that were... Oh, because then it was about... Okay, I want to be on the next map, because obviously there's a roadmap that everyone used, because this is before sat-nav. So you'd talk to the Michelin people who were, and be like, oh, can you make sure that we're one of the stars on the map? And then that's when the sort of
they'd start getting really full of thirself, going, well, if we can come and you can give her a nice meal and we'll judge you. Like,
aye.
So
I'm fairly confident that that's the story, because I don't know why else it would be in my head. I feel like I've watched a documentary stoned on it, and that's why, like, whether it was fucking Anthony Bourdain or one of the Chef's Table ones, I feel like that's...
I reckon like Dunlop should do it for like more affordable ones.
Aye,
This is a Dunlop star restaurant.
Oh, okay.
It's like the Bellator.
Like some Michelin star chefs drop down there and just stop giving a shit. Like they used to work in really fine dining places in Paris, and they're like, and now I do fried chicken and jambalaya. He's like, okay, I hope it's good. It packs a punch.
Two Dunlop triangles. Can't use the stars. We got sued.
So I think it's like, so yeah, you can be a Michelin starred chef, and what that means is like you've caused a restaurant to get a star, but this restaurant will never lose that star, even if you, the chef, fuck off.
Because I've been in ones where it's been like Michelin star 2019 or whatever.
Yeah.
That means it got its rating that year.
Yeah. And
but like, do you have to maintain it? Like, can you have like... We don't know the answers to this, do we?
No, because again, the only time, please understand, the only time we're ever eating at Michelin star restaurants is when somebody drags us there in our trackies. I've never booked one. We're just very, very lucky, and we clearly don't know how to do the fucking...
I find it so funny when I'm there, because like, I mean, just that last 3... We've just done food tourism, essentially what we've done, with a couple of gigs in the mix, right?
Aye.
And we went to 3 either Michelin stars or previously given Michelin stars restaurants in a row, and I still remember quite vividly days when I had to go into the bank and ask for me £7 because you can't get that amount out at the cash point. You know, I remember like most months, right? Aye. Most months before the end of the month, before payday, I'd just pretend I was on a health kick and cycle to work because I had no petrol.
Aye.
And I was waiting on payday.
Aye.
And like, I remember them days, even though they were quite a while ago now. I remember them, and every time I'm just there, like, dude, mind if I do with a Michelin star restaurant? I give the fucking posh cunts the stink eye in business. I'm just like, that wasn't that far away. That I've got some really good perspective for enjoying them moments.
Well, it's what makes me try food that I've never tried before. Because when we're in those restaurants, I'm like, I have to try this, just because everyone else is right and I don't belong here. Like, if I don't eat every fucking weird thing in front of me because, like, I'm like, I don't like lettuce, like, or oh yuck, that's a bit of the animal. I just feel like I've got to eat it, otherwise they're gonna drag me out with my fucking waistband. Are these towelly shoes? No.
Do you ever get? Do you ever suffer from imposter syndrome at any point in your life? Do you? Do you let it sink in though?
No. No. Whenever it pops up, I go, that's you know, that we talked about last episode. Like, that's an intrusive thought where I'm like, there's no ground for that to be true.
You know, I think the best way to deal with imposter syndrome is that there's a line in an Eminem track from the Kamikaze album, and it's Fall, when he was like, he's like, come in and thrust my pelvic bone, use your telephone, put my feet up, tell you to pass the remote control, I belong here. And it's just like the whole picture that he paints, I got the lyrics fucked up, like, but the whole picture that he paints is, I've come into your house, I'm putting my feet up past the remote. Like, this is my house now. Like, and I just fucking love that attitude, because you're like, if you feel like you're an imposter, you know who should feel bad? The person whose nest you're in, not you.
They let you stay.
I just can't, right? If I'm an imposter, it's not on me. I'm not the one that's been imposed upon. If I was, I'd deal with that.
No, I feel like imposter syndrome's more the fact that you're like, okay, I'm part of this group where everyone else is very good at this thing, and for some reason I've snuck into the ranks of it.
Aye.
And don't get me wrong, it's a horrible thing. I've got friends that suffer from it who do not deserve it at all. You know, I occasionally get it, and I'll get it out of my head as quickly as possible. But you do see people and they're like, I've got imposter syndrome, and you go, oh, good, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I don't know.
Do you have imposter syndrome, or are you self-aware? And that's what make people with imposter syndrome feel way worse.
Because they go, oh, maybe I don't have imposter syndrome.
No, because they're like, oh God, maybe I do. And they're just, you know, or maybe I'm not part of the first example. Maybe I am just the second example. And you'll never know. The only thing to do is fucking bluff your way through it.
Just meet it with arrogance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I belong here.
I mean, that is literally how I dealt with imposter syndrome for the first 5 years of my career was, you know, this is what Conor McGregor did, just shout louder than everyone else until you belong.
And it's one of them things where, like, what advice would you give somebody else? Just give that to yourself. The advice, like, you'd have, say, if Mark Nelson started saying, you'd be like, what? You're one of the fucking best in the business. You're fucking amazing at this. Why would you? They should have imposter syndrome for being in your company. And you'd give your friend that advice.
Aye.
Give that to yourself. Be your own mate.
Well, see, my therapist has occasionally brought that up where she'll go, you know, if you ever find yourself talking to yourself in certain ways, would you let your friends talk about themselves that way, or would you let your friends talk about your other friends that way? And the answer is obviously no. So you stop that. And I'm like, well, that's a really good example, except would I let my friends talk about themselves that way? Probably not. Would I let my friends talk about my other friends that way? If I'm joining in on the bullying,
yes.
yeah, absolutely. I would. Aye. Yeah.
Can I talk to them like that?
Every single time. And I think that's what happens in my brain is occasionally when I'm being mean to myself, the other part of my brain goes, this is class, get him.
The thing I had as well, you know, if you do something stupid and you're just like, I'm sure I've spoken about it before, and you're like, oh, why have I done that? Like, what a dick, why have I done that? I over-exaggerate that till it becomes a joke, where you're like, I'll be trying to get ice cubes out and I'll fucking spaff it, I'll go all over the floor, right? And I'll just go like, why am I like this? Oh, you're such an asshole, Kai. Like it's become.
Oh, mine's is genuine, man. When I lose, we spoke about this in the last podcast, but when I lose something within 5 feet of myself, nothing makes me hate myself more in this world. Worse than biting my cheeks. No wait.
But just like turn the feeling you have towards yourself into like into just a hyperbole joke. And it totally diffuses the whole thing in your own thoughts.
Aye.
To just be like, oh, why am I like this? I'm always doing this.
Bad as myself.
Fuck!
I like to, well, we do that occasionally. Me and Cullen do that whenever we're playing FIFA together and one of us misses a shot before the other person can be like, you're a fucking idiot for missing that. You just pretend to, you know, hit yourself and stuff.
Aye.
Aye.
Like hitting yourself.
Sorry.
I just want to be someone else.
What is Kai the science guy?
Yeah, let's do a little jingle for us. Like, it's a section. Just because we wrote a couple of things that we might need to bring up on the thing, and I just wrote Kai the science guy.
Aye, and your dad's FB page. Right. So I went to...
Right, let's do Dad's your dad Facebook page. Yes. It's not about your dad. It's about. Can you remember before we even started doing dad jokes on the podcast? Yes. We started texting each other about like I'll hold your dad's hand when I take him to school. Yeah, and stuff like that. Right, it's just like basic, really like one-line ones, and we've done them back and forth. And I screen capped a bunch of them, and I opened a Facebook page called Your Dad. Yeah. Right, and like. I just dropped them in. Like, since then, there's been fucking 1,000,001, like, your dad's a liability type pages that have happened. So it's pointless going back to it because, like, we'd look like the fucking... Aye. Anyway, so I just let the page die, right? But loads of people keep tagging it in commemorations. Loads of people are just like, I'm so sorry to hear the sad news. I've known at your dad. I used to work with them, and then like the hyperlink, just the page where me and Eve screen capped our messages from 2016. Oh god! And I don't know if it's just people that follow it when they start typing your dad, it like just prompts them and suggests them to tag it because they've wrote it. Every week I'm tagged in obituaries.
Oh boy!
So that's happened for years, and I've never brought it up. And I was just like, I can't believe I've never even told anyone about it. It's just been a part of my like weekly life, and I'm just always just like, oh well, I hope they're okay.
R.I.P. I guess. R.I.P. them and R.I.P. my mentions. Am I right?
Thanks for promoting my page.
Yeah, just go underneath. Hi, sorry for your loss, but thank you so much for your custom.
Kai the Science Guy. I've been reading New Scientist magazine.
Oh, I occasionally go through phases every 3 years where I'm like, I'm smart enough for this, and then after 2 issues, I'm like, I'm not.
Well, what it was is when I'm walking Peggy, there's this point in the woods where there's like this kind of tree's been chopped down, but they've turned the stump into like a seat. And I just like to have a sit there and let Peggy just run around and play with the leaves and just do her own thing, and I can just read a little bit of me on my phone. And then instead of like texting, I just decided I'd read a couple of articles from New Scientist magazine. And then I was like, oh, we're gonna have a section on the podcast that's like, you could do like a little jingle like, it's Kai the Science Guy, and put it on a button, and I'll tell you what I've learned.
Right.
So do a little jingle.
Nah. You've just done it. And that could be it from now on. The saddest thing, you can sing in your own theme tune every week.
Sky, kind of science guy, boom, boom. There's two blobs floating around under the crust of the earth, the size of a continent each. One's under the Pacific Ocean, and one is under Africa. And they're a different consistency to the rest of the Earth's mantle. And they're trying to figure out what it is. You obviously kind of can do and have a look with a scuba diver, can't you? The molten lava, like just fucking swan dive doing a volcano and going, oh no, it's just.
That's why we need superheroes.
It's plastic. It's where all the plastic's gathering.
It's just lots of big farts. It's two big farts, just big air pockets. It's actually helium. That's how the Earth floats. Did you never wonder that? You stupid idiots.
Now in sync.
Yeah, obviously we'd fall through space. You'd have cuts. It's helium. That's what it means we float in space. Jesus Christ! New scientist, learn the old science. You fucking thick twat.
Absolute fucking hell. So
It's helium.
they're trying to figure out, like, it's hard to ultrasound the one underneath the Pacific. There's really big blind spots in the Earth underneath the oceans. It's easier to date from the land. Turns out, but they've gathered that like the way the like nickel, the majority of the Earth's mantle is nickel, and that's flown kind of around these massive continents of mass that they believe to be maybe iron, but they've just melted at different temperatures, so they stay separate like a lava lamp. And the theory is, the working theory that they're going with is, you know, when the moon was created, we were hit by a Mars-sized asteroid that they've named Thea, and it ended up like splitting off, and obviously massive cataclysm, and created the moon, which is just a bit of debris from Thea that floats around with, and they reckon like 2 clumps of that are just stuck under the Earth's crust, and they've just melted, and just
big bits of metal.
Big bits of metal and rock just fucking melted together, just floating around at a different consistency.
Does that mean we're gonna get like iron volcanoes? Cause,
I think
because that would be because fucking imagine that Pompeii.
Aye.
Like if the iron comes out, of a fucking that's a pretty fucking, and pardon the pun, pretty metal way to die.
Aye.
Right, it's like a fucking iron or steel. Oh no, wait, it wouldn't be steel, obviously.
Steel's
Steel's
a compound,
Aye,
mixture.
Yeah, mixture. Yeah. The less. Let's go for the less scientific term.
I think it's there's a difference between a compound and a mixture.
Is there?
You put salt and water, that's a mixture.
Aye, but
It's a mixture.
It's an alloy. I think
It's a mixture between 2 compounds.
I think I'm pretty sure that's an alloy, isn't that?
That steel's an alloy. That's what we're looking for.
That's
Kai, the science guy.
Aye, so not a compound and not a mixture at all.
So, what I thought we'd do is a section to keep you reading the New Scientist is come in every time have a section called Kai the Science Guy, where I tell you something dead interesting that you can make little riffs off, like, oh, it's helium.
Oh, okay, aye, and then at the end you can get basic science wrong, and then we can question the factual accuracy of the entire previous segment.
Aye, that is exactly the point. that is what this is.
Gotcha.
What if it's the Earth's an egg and they've only spotted them now because like the fetus is getting bigger and we're having twins?
Well, I mean that's
and the Earth's been impregnated.
But with what?
the meteor that killed the dinosaurs.
But what's that fetus of?
A baby planet.
Right, what's it?
A moon. It is the moon. We've come back full circle. I don't know.
What would knowing what it is do? Can we utilize the information, or is it one of those things where science is like, we learned this thing, and you're like, what does that mean? They're like, we don't know, and you're like, all right, thanks. How much, and not to be that guy that's like, how much did that cost? But you couldn't have done,
Do we need to know that? It's like pointless technology. Is like, this is it's such a great technology, but in the 30 years that it's been around, there's been no solid use for it. But like t-shirts that, like, if you put your hand on it and then take your hand away, it's changed colour from purple to green because of the heat. And you're like, oh, great. So now people know I've got sweat patches. Class.
Yeah. Normally it was just light grey shirts that did it, but I'm so glad it can now happen in maroon and beige.
and like they'll put it on cars and it'll just look stupid. And like, you just think, right, we've just created a belt of technology, but why did we do it? Why is it not important? We did it, okay?
Well, do you not remember all those fucking videos that were on YouTube ages ago of the super, like the spray that they would do, which would make any side effects super hydrophobic, right? So hydrophobic that water is like literally drops, goes off, none of it sticks to it. Like, it's just, it's just, and they'll put it on, the perfect example they'll put it on like the wing mirror of a car, something that regularly gets wet that you don't want to get wet because you need to see in it. And they did those videos went viral 10 years ago, and there's still fucking rain on my wing mirror. So does that stuff not work as good as before? Are people just like, who gives a shit? Mm-hmm. Like, why is it not being utilised?
The technology's not ready.
I mean, it looked ready in the YouTube video.
Yeah.
And also put that on umbrellas. Put that on another thing. Put that on babies. Put them on their tongues. They'll never drown. Not be able to drink again, though. Bad idea. Fucked it. The only flaw on that plan.
That's the only one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I heard from Neil deGrasse Tyson when I was chatting to him in the pub?
Oh, yeah. Odd way to pitch that already. My friend Neil deGrasse Tyson was saying to me, you heard him on a podcast, I assume?
Yes.
Right.
Saying that if you shrunk the Earth down to the size of a snooker ball,
everyone would die.
Everyone would be tiny.
Yeah, no, okay. Everyone else would be way smaller or the same size, and we'd stand on the earth and we'd all be dead.
It would be smoother than a snooker ball.
Aye.
Which is... But how? Because it's not... Like, surely if it's getting battered by rocks and shit like that over the years, right? That makes it a bit clumpy, right?
Yeah. But it's more like...
But if you shrunk it right down, them, like... massive Grand Canyons and fucking Earth, like the deepest part of the ocean, they're all so insignificant at that size. That's super smooth.
Yeah.
Does that not mean like there has to be some kind of friction involved to polish it, to sand it, to make it such a perfect circle? Does it not have to have some kind of like how's it getting like?
No, it's no. The whole
point.
The whole
point. In space.
No. The whole point of the analogy is that we think these mountains are fucking massive, but if you were to like, in comparative thickness to the Earth, it's fuck all. It's literally nothing.
Yeah.
It's so nothing that if we were that size, it would feel smooth. That's what that means.
But how did it get that smooth?
It's not that. It's if only.
No, but it is though, because like size is so comparative. So if a giant swimming through the space, this was like, oh, like a little golf ball. And then they're like, oh my God, this is so smooth. How'd it get like that? There's no friction in space. And like giant space aliens, like got Earth and we're all screaming in terror, right? The atmosphere's fucked. like we're burning up. Like as soon as it's let's say tentacles, like came through the atmosphere, like it's a disaster for us, right? But for it, it's like, how's it so fucking smooth? It's like, I'm taking that home.
Put it
in its top pocket and then swim back off through space. And again, I can't believe there's no friction in space to make it that smooth. So, like, that means I'm not going anywhere when I'm swimming here. Because if there was friction in space, I'd be able to swim through space.
Right.
Right, kind of science guy's a really bad idea.
It's one of the...
We're keeping it. I'm a bad ideas guy.
Do you know that the first time they went up into space, they didn't realise, none of the scientists worked out that because there's no oxygen there, right, when you weld things together, what you're doing is you're putting so much oxygen, you're making it super hot that you're basically ionizing it, and that's what joins the metal together, right? That already naturally happens in space because there's no oxygen. So in space, you can just go with two metals cold that are the same metal of each other and stick them together, and they'll automatically be welded together.
Oh, sweet.
Right, and they had no idea until they were up in space for the first time, and then the poor guy opened the fucking door, went outside, shut it behind him, and then they're like, okay, open it back up, and they're like,
To weld it shut.
we're trying to.
Oh my God.
Aye.
So this is great news, because if either of us have any welding to do, what we'll do, right, we'll go into a room, say like this one, get Ryan Cullen to come in, tell one of his jokes, suck all of the atmosphere out of the room, and then do the welding.
Yeah, dead easy, right? Yeah.
Kai, the science guy.
He thinks he saved it. He thinks he saved it.
That's the jingle. Someone put a beat to that bit. Do you have anything else to add?
No. I was going to say we should have done your dad jokes, but we've not. I mean, we could pause it, and then write some dad jokes, and then, oh no, my phone's in the house. No, we can't. I guess I could just write them down.
Should we just riff some?
No, let's pause it for 3 minutes, and then do some dad jokes.
Your dad jokes. It's the your dad joke section. Your dad. Jingles. Would you get jingles?
We're not getting jingles.
Somebody out there's got to be good at making jingles. And they can
Yeah, someone from the radios in the 60s.
Aye, and then you press the button, it'll be like, dad jokes, here's your dad jokes.
Why would they're not? We can just go into them. People understand the format of the show.
Fine. If you want the production value to be crud. I've never said crud before. I hated it. Take back everything.
Your dad's a tribute act for Fred Durst called Soggy Biscuit.
I give your dad a balloon for his birthday and he just floated off. I haven't seen him since. He's assumed dead.
Your dad saw a shooting star and wished his luck would change, but it turns out it was a crashing plane and it hit his favourite chip shop.
Your dad got put on detention for giving one of the dinner ladies a hickey.
Your dad's farts give him PTSD from your mum's cooking. He's just like, oh, meatloaf.
Your dad plays the recorder in a death metal band.
Your dad's banned from the golf course because he turned up in Heelys.
Your dad puts his car keys on the radiator so that when we're at swingers parties I know to pull the warm ones out of the fruit bowl.
Your dad cried when he held you for the first time because he's terrified of babies.
Your dad's going to be crying on Arsenal TV tonight after the Newcastle match.
The end.
The end of the dad jokes. Dad jokes. Daddy, dad. Daddy, dad.
Germany. We're coming back to Germany. We've got plenty of. I'm pretty sure. I know some of the dates are sold out, and I know some of them are, and I know I'm meant to know the dates that aren't sold out because those are the ones I should be telling you about. So why don't you go to the website and you work out for yourself? We're also in Prague and Zurich and Vienna. Extra show in Vienna. So get that in your head. Get those tickets bought, and we'll see you there.
All right. Bye.